right, we are live for a Sunday edition of Across the Board Sports Talk Show. I told you, Abe, I can yell. I can yell. It is Across the Board Sports Talk Show. We are live at one of the best places in the Lehigh Valley. One of my favorite places since I was a kid coming here at the Beef Baron. When I walked in here, right off the bat, I felt like it was my childhood coming back. Even though I've come here over the last couple of years, me and my dad used to come here all the time, and it's a great time to come in here at 2366 Catasauqua Road in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Next to me is the fine owner of this place, Abe, who is a Dallas Cowboys fan. Right at the show. No, he is a. We're going to talk Eagles Cowboys during the show. But Abe, I'd like to thank you to my audience, of course, on YouTube Live, Facebook Live. We are all local sports talk show, and you've welcomed me here, of course, to do some advertising and also to enjoy a great meal and lunch here in the spot, to grab some beers and watch some games. I mean, and Joe, in a couple of minutes, we're going to pan the room throughout the show. We'll show you how nice of a spot this is to come and enjoy a football game, especially Eagles Cowboys today at 425. But thank you for having us, and I just want to introduce you to my audience and tell us a little bit about Beef Baron right off the top.
No, it's my pleasure. It's good to have you here. I mean, what we try to do here, our goal is to have great food at a reasonable price. So that's our great food and drinks.
That's right. Yeah.
At a reasonable price. That's what we strive for.
Yeah. And there's the environment here is what makes a sports. Like, I feel like this is more of a nice hangout. You come on by, grab a draft beer, grab a bite to eat, and you could just chit chat with your. It's a nice environment to be involved with, and I feel like you've set that atmosphere up for the customers that walk in this door.
Yeah, we try. Thank you.
Yeah. And one of the biggest things I love on this menu, Abe, is the Delmonico steak sandwich. Right? Is that something that you would? What's the biggest selling item that you think people would come in here?
Actually, our biggest selling items really are our burgers. We sell more burgers than anything, but a lot of people love the Delmonico steak sandwich.
It's my favorite.
And the roast beef is probably a close third.
Yeah, I gotta try the roast beef. But the Delmonico steaks, and now you have fries too, which we talked about this prior to me coming on and doing this on the show. I always said to myself, I was like, we'd come here as a kid, and people would walk in and say, well, I want a burger with fries. I'm like, we don't have fries here. We don't have a fryer. And then you came on board and you took over this place. The big changes you've made is what I think, and a good reason why we need to put Beef Baron on the map and let people now in town, even my Philadelphia listeners, Fanatic listeners, if you're up here in the area, it's a nice spot to just pull in, have a bite to eat, and keep moving.
Yep.
Right, and that's what. So credit cards and French fries have changed the game.
Yeah, those are the two things we added. We thought those things would definitely improve the place, and over the last year, it absolutely has.
It has, and you can tell. I mean, what's great about the Beef Baron, of course, look on Yelp. Your reviews are great. Facebook page, I've tagged Beef Baron in these posts, and of course, on my Facebook page for the show, I've been promoting Beef Baron. And like I said, where else to go on a Thursday night but to watch a game and hang out and have a beer and a sandwich? It would be here for me, and it's a great spot, and it's nice for all ages too. I mean, it's not like other than infants, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, and then one thing you do have is the happy hour from 5 to 7 every day. 75 cents off except shots. Throughout the week. So that's a big special you have too.
All drinks. Yeah,
all drinks. And how many beers did you say you have in that cooler?
We have over 80 bottled beers and 15 beers on draft. Mostly IPAs.
Yeah, IPAs are like the specific. I know I'm not a beer drinker myself. I'm more of a vodka drinker. I think we've talked about this too before. But there are people who look at it and say, well, I want to have this crazy IPA named. I don't know where these names come from.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, but it's good to have that variety and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that's awesome. All right, we are located at 2366 Catasauqua Road, Bethlehem, PA. And we'll be here from 12 to 1:30. But I always say, too, stop on by even throughout the week, throughout the weekend. There's a game tomorrow night. Of course, the Vikings play the Seahawks tomorrow night. Thursday night football this week. Come on by for a drink, for a bite to eat. I think it's an easy thing to do, and it's not hard. I mean, there's always somebody looking for something to do, right? There's always something, for football, especially the month of December with the bowl games coming up and the NFL. We'll be here in March for March Madness to do a show too as well. But I wanted to ask you a question about what you said earlier with the Cowboys, because of course we are going to talk sports, and I know you're not the biggest sports fan in the world, but you got to be a little juiced today about Eagles Cowboys. There's got to be something, and when it's Eagles Cowboys Day, you got to have some sort of hatred boiling inside you today.
Yeah, well, my brothers try to feed that because they're bigger fans than I am. Maybe you can get one of those clowns.
We should, yeah, of course. Later. Let's come on in. Well, are they Eagles fans or Cowboys fans? They're Cowboys fans. Okay, I thought that. I knew Bert was. I didn't know about his. So Cowboys fans. Whole family. Your whole life too. There's no messing around. What do you think about today's game? In a nutshell, before we get into it.
I don't know. I think Dallas is gonna win, but who knows for sure? We'll see. You have an Eagles fan coming on later.
I do. So Joe's a big Eagles fan. Most people who listen to the show, and I always say, I've ripped I don't hold no holds barred on the show. Part of what got me in trouble down at the Fanatic was my mouth would run faster and too much about Chip Kelly. Look what happened to him. I was calling for that guy's head for years. But the Eagles, this to me feels like a game where it's desperation. It's the season.
Yeah.
The statistic that I looked at was 78% chance the Cowboys win the division going into today's game. 78% chance.
Wow.
If they lose today, it's literally 50-50. So it can go either way. The Eagles are 28% chance to make the playoffs if it started today. Meaning you're down on 28% chance.
Right.
This game literally flips the numbers.
Okay.
So if you're talking, this game is so big. It's the biggest game of the day, not only for the Eagles and the Cowboys, but for the NFL.
Yeah.
But how about a couple more statistics? I like trends. Ezekiel Elliott is a big key for the Cowboys. 5-1 this year when they run for over 100 yards. So when he runs for 100 yards, they're 5-1. That's a big stat. Eagles have trouble stopping the run. I'm not giving out my pick, but Dallas, I like Philadelphia. Honestly, I think Philadelphia because of desperation. But look at those trends, though. The Cowboys did you see this coming, though, as a Cowboys fan, the last 4 weeks?
No, I didn't.
You didn't think
No.
they were sitting at what 3 and 5 at one point? 3 and 5, and they ripped off 4 straight games.
Yeah.
4-game winning streak. So, but we do speak to a lot of Eagles fans, and of course, now I got Craig. So one of my listeners, and Craig Fritch says Eagles who? He's a big Cowboys fan as well. And it's one thing where I've been calling for Carson Wentz to finally show to take a game by its neck, right?
Yeah.
And to do something for the Eagles. This would be a game that he could do it. The defense for the Cowboys is pretty phenomenal.
They're
but,
unbelievable.
yeah, it's pretty cool now. But are you do you like Jason Garrett? Or do you not like Jason?
No, I don't know. I feel like I like him because he's not too loud. You don't hear too much about him. I think he does a nice job with the team.
Yeah. The show we did a couple weeks ago was the night of a couple days before Eagles Cowboys Part 1.
Yeah.
And there were Cowboys fans on my show saying, I hope they lose to the Eagles so they can leave him in Philadelphia. Like that's how close it was. Like he should just not coach the Cowboys anymore. They go out, they played a phenomenal Sunday night game, they win that game, and then they won 3 straight after that. So it's crazy to see him in that position. Yeah. That's awesome. All right, well we're gonna get Joe on here in a minute, Eagles fan. If you guys want to jump on talk out. Bird's good. Maybe Aziz will jump on. We'll get Aziz in a little bit. We'll talk about the Cowboys and the Eagles. Of course, I thank you for having us here, and of course, all my listeners on the show. If you want to stop on by, if not just obviously, I would love to see you guys here today. We're here until way past 1:30. I'm gonna definitely have a Delmonico steak. I can't come here and not eat a Delmonico steak sandwich. But you guys are open 7 days a week. There's no break here. 12 o'clock on Sundays and 11 a.m. the rest of the week.
Yep.
That's it. So Beef Baron, 2366 Catasauqua Road, Bethlehem, PA. Facebook, they're on Facebook. Check them out. Check them out on Yelp. On my pages, of course, I promoted it. The logo is badass, by the way. You updated. That was you're doing, right?
That was us,
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
Pushing for you.
When is your busiest day?
Fridays.
Fridays and
Yeah,
Saturdays?
Fridays always. Yeah, usually Friday's the busiest day.
Yeah.
Wednesday surprisingly has been busy too lately.
Break up the week a little bit.
Yeah,
too.
I guess.
Yeah, I'd want a happy hour drink on a Wednesday, 5 to 7. Why
All right,
not?
we'll see you Wednesday.
It's 75 cents off. 75 cents off. And hey, why not? Come on by, get yourself a draft. One of those IPA. I'll try it. I'm not a big beer drinker, but I'll definitely give it a try. Thank you for having us here.
All
Of course,
right,
it's a pleasure. Of course, if you want to come out and see Abe in this fine establishment again, 2366 Catasauqua Road, Bethlehem, PA. Facebook page. Give it a like. I mean, it's growing too. The page is growing.
It is.
And we'll definitely be here in the next couple. We'll be here a couple times, hopefully, and of course for March Madness when the games are big too.
Yeah.
But definitely stop on by, even not just to see me, to have a bite to eat.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome with that. Thank you very much. Abe.
All right,
Thank you.
Joe.
We'll slide into Eagles fan now.
All right.
Joe, we'll switch seats. We'll bring Joe in. And of course, there are a lot more statistics on the show. And it's easy. Feel free anytime to come on. Yes, we'll come on and talk some Cowboys Eagles. But this show today specifically was an Eagles Cowboys thing. Joe, thank you for joining the show. Joe's got the Carson Wentz jersey here, locked and loaded. But for me, coming into the show, it was pretty simple, and it was Eagles Cowboys. I looked at the rest of the NFL today because I have to do due diligence for my listeners, and of course, GodfatherLocks.com. But today's Eagles Cowboys, it's a rivalry game. We talked about it a couple weeks ago at the cut when I said, "Is the rivalry dead?" I'm going to specifically ask you, Joe, is the rivalry dead? As an Eagles fan, as an Eagles fan, do you think that today's a chance for it to be revived and a chance for it to show some life?
Well, I mean, Eagles Cowboys, to me, it's any given Sunday. It's any given Sunday. And as an Eagles fan, you thrive for stuff like that.
Yeah,
You get your popcorn ready.
Yeah.
It's
a big game.
And it's a big prime
game.
time.
Yeah.
To some Eagles fans, to some Cowboys fans, it's like Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah.
Well, this is a chance for the Eagles to try to get back into the playoffs.
Exactly.
Would be today because they have to. You can't lose this game
Yeah.
and expect to try to make the playoffs.
Exactly.
I mean, even if you win today, you're still both 7-6.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not like it's 7-6, and they're both tied for first place.
Yeah.
And then you got 3 games left with the Eagles got LA, they got Houston,
Yeah.
and they got
That's
Washington
tough.
last
That's
week.
tough schedule.
It
Oh,
is
yeah.
tough.
Oh, yeah.
It is tough.
Oh, yeah.
And you have the Carson Wentz jersey, right? And I put this stuff down. So Carson Wentz, to me, is not only a big part today, but a big part for the Eagles to get it go. We saw it on Monday against the Redskins. Zach Ertz was involved. The Eagles' offense looked like it did in the Super Bowl run. I mean, you got to give it to them. And then Washington had Mark Sanchez in at quarterback at one point in the game. But the defense of Washington is pretty good.
Yeah.
And the Eagles had success. The Eagles on Monday looked more like the Eagles of last year. Am I right or am I wrong about that? They looked like Carson looked comfortable. Zach Ertz looked comfortable. They could have scored more than 28
and they're
points.
starting to show up at the right time too. They're starting to click on all cylinders.
They did.
Yeah.
This is the game you want to
This
do.
is the game you want to do it.
Yeah.
So today's game, having 6-6
Hour or so on the program, you're gonna hear me pump Beef Baron up. This is the spot. This is such a nice, low-key spot to come on by. Watch the Eagles-Cowboys game. These flat screens TVs. This is why I need my basement. I need this in my basement, Abe. I have all these TVs in my basement and hang on out. And of course, you stop on by for some, and there's Joe panning it. There inside is more of the bar area. Of course, the draft beers and the beers that Abe were talking about in the cooler. And you'll see the grill. The grill is. I mean, how would you describe it as far as like a
3 feet maybe,
3 foot long? Yeah, 3 feet, and that's when you know it's freshly made to order. There's nothing freshly made to order. There's nothing in the back sitting under a lamp. Which I used to, in my temple days, I used to eat burgers that were under a hot lamp. Then I get sick. It wasn't the alcohol that got me sick, it was the burger. And I was under the lamp for about 6 hours. But this, you're not gonna get that here. I mean, literally, you're gonna watch the steak being made right in front of you. It's phenomenal stuff. Chicken fingers for the kids, mozzarella sticks, French fries. Inside, and Laura's got some pictures right now inside. It's the TV's. It's perfect. There's a jukebox. I mean, to me, this is what a bar should be for a sports fan. Honestly, it's perfectly placed, and everything about it is great. Of course, to come on by and watch some football. NFL games start at 1. I'm going to be going into the first half hour of the games at 1 o'clock. So we're going to actually have some score updates. I
So
know.
you're giving out your free segments?
Yeah, look, I'm going to get on my picks a little earlier today. Yesterday on the website, 7-0. I mean, like, I'm not even having
the best
fun
record.
anymore.
That's the best
I'm not even having fun, Bert. I'm not even, it's too easy now. Just laying it out. No, 7-0 yesterday on the site. We'll give out 2 free NFL picks coming up in about 10 minutes. Back to the Carson Wentz topic. And I look at.
I got questions for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Carson Wentz for me is. When are we going to start asking for him the pressure on Carson Wentz, right? When are we going to start saying Carson Wentz needs to take the game over? I asked about I don't know if you were watching 2 weeks ago when I said when are we going to start asking for Carson Wentz to get the pressure of taking a team that's a Super Bowl champ and do something? Do you think he's done it the last couple weeks, and does he do it today? That's the question. Does he take the game over today?
I mean, ever since he came back for the Colts game from the ACL and LCL injury, it hasn't been too easy for him.
It hasn't been, but nobody. I don't think it is for anybody to have an injury like that. To be 100% Joe right after you get an injury like that in sports, you know it's hard to overcome it.
But stats are good for him. 18 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
Yeah, he's having a good season.
Yeah, and his quarterback rating's pretty good too.
It is, but there are some missed throws.
Yeah.
The turning the ball over though. Like
Yeah.
even in the game against Jacksonville, London, 2 turnovers, and he overcame it, and they won the game.
Yeah.
The game last week, he missed some. Look, Ertz dropped a couple. There were some drop passes. They could have scored more than 28 points. Can we agree on that? They should have scored more than 28.
They should have.
They got the win, but it felt like it just was like they were limping to the finish line at one point.
And it was slow at the point too, where they kept the Redskins intact in that football game.
Yes.
Where the
Redskins still had a hope.
Like during the third quarter.
Yeah.
Where it was 13-13.
Yeah,
It could have been anybody's ball game.
I know. You thought they should have put him away. They should have put him away.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
I agree.
They should have definitely. I mean, as a defending Super Bowl team, you should have closed out that game with a lot of points.
I agree. And the Eagles today, they're going to need to. So one other, and I have a bunch of notes about today's game. The Eagles defense, the Cowboys defense is a great up front and the linebackers.
Yeah.
So what Carson Wentz needs to do is air it out, exploit the secondary. There's going to have to be some quick throws. Golden Tate needs to be involved.
Yeah.
The last time we saw the Eagles on the road, and you know what happened a couple weeks ago in the Saints. It wasn't very.
It wasn't too pretty.
No.
48-7.
It wasn't good.
Yeah.
So they're and the defense of the now speaking of the Saints, one thing about sports, and we know this, and I know we got Dallas fans all in the house here today. The Cowboys had such a big win against the Saints, and I'm big on emotion. Like what does that do for the psyche of a team coming back? Last Thursday was a big game. I had Dallas, by the way, that game. Thank you very much. They cashed my ticket, so I'm happy. But +7, I didn't think they would win the game. I honestly didn't think they would win the game.
No, that Cowboys Saints game was good.
It was a
all
great
about
game.
defense.
Yeah,
It was all about defense.
But what does it do for the Met? Like when you win 4 straight, you know in the NFL, it's hard to win 5, 6, 7 games in a row unless you get hot at the right time. You win a game like that, you beat the Saints, who was arguably the best team in the NFL last week. Now you come back at the divisional opponent who's playing for their season. Like this game's far more important to the Eagles than it is the Cowboys. The Cowboys could afford to lose this game. You could drop the game and still win the division. You'll only be tied for first with 3 games left. Cowboys have a much easier schedule than
Now
this.
my question to you is, the Cowboys' long 4-game winning streak going on right now.
Yeah.
What's the reason? Is their defense or is it their offense?
It's Ezekiel Elliott and it's the defense, the run defense.
They got Taco Charlton.
Yeah.
They got Vanderbosch, that rookie.
Yes.
And
Vanderbosch,
and they got Woozier.
Yes.
All of them are good playmakers.
But the Cowboys are doing it what's unorthodox right now, right? I mean, the NFL is all about putting up points. The Cowboys are doing it with playing old school defense, hard-nosed football, stopping the run, playing foot. That's what the Ravens did in 2001. That's what these teams used to do back in the days, play smack in the mouth football and not being penalized by the NFL with all these rules, right? It's helped the Cowboys. The Cowboys are playing it the smart way. I feel
I hate to say that as an Eagles fan.
no, but they're playing. How can you not? The thing is, but you appreciate it as football, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you appreciate it as seeing it as the NFL is. Let me score you first.
But the facts are out there, and you gotta pinpoint them out.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
This is right in front of you.
Exactly. It's across the board sports talk show. Everybody tuned in now live.
And my second question to you
go ahead.
is both teams now 7-5, Seahawks and Dallas Cowboys. Which team do you see making the playoffs? And the Seahawks are a good team too.
I think Dallas makes it even, and there's a chance now too that Dallas or Philly can win one of the wild card spots.
Yeah.
Because they're both getting hot at the right time. I think Dallas definitely makes it. To be honest, I'm shocked the Seattle Seahawks are 7-5 right now. I think I'm with America on that. I didn't think anybody thought that the Seattle Seahawks would be a contender at this point. I mean, let alone they're doing it pretty damn well. That win in Carolina a couple weeks ago, now we're seeing Carolina trend down. But Seattle looks like Seattle last week dropped 40-some points. All do it against the Niners. I didn't think Seattle would even be 7-5 right now. Did you think they would be 7-5?
The way Russell Wilson's performing
Yeah,
right now?
that's what I mean. They look like the Seattle of the 2-3 years ago when they were in the Super Bowl. They're playing pretty good football. I think Dallas, even with the loss today, still has a better chance to get into the playoffs, only because Seattle, tomorrow's game against Minnesota is huge for Seattle. I just think that Philadelphia today, and this is to give out my free pick today, I'm not just siding with you because you're next to me. I think Dallas has the better team, but I think desperation is so big. Like, this is their season today. So I got to just, if I'm going to put my money on it, I got to go with Philly to say, this is a chance for the Eagles to save their season. So when I'm putting my money on a team that's fighting for their lives, I'd rather go with that than go with a team that's playing with house money. Does that make any sense? Like, the Cowboys can afford to lose, Joe.
Yeah,
They can afford to lose.
And they're still in it, yeah.
And they're still very much in it. And they still have a 50% chance of winning the division.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side of it,
Eagles don't look good in it.
they don't look good if they lose this game. But here's the thing. The flip side of Dallas is if Dallas wins today, you took a stranglehold and you won the division, basically. So you're at home, 425 on Fox. This isn't like the free game.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a chance for them to literally grab the division by its neck and end it.
But let me tell you this, looking at the Eagles' schedule hasn't been easy for them either. I mean, they had the Giants previously, and they had the Redskins.
Yeah.
And they came up with W's.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, are the Eagles making a statement? That's the question.
Well, what would a win today do for an Eagles fan like yourself? What would a win today do for now? You know how Eagles fans, and not saying you do this, Joe,
Right.
but there are a lot of Eagles fans that they're very emotional when Eagles fans win. When Eagles
Get
win,
heartbroken if they
exactly. When the Eagles win, it's like we're going to the Super Bowl, right? We're going back to the Super Bowl. Last week's win, I'm listening to local radio, not to prepare for my show. I'm listening to these people saying, finally, Carson Wentz looks like Carson Wentz of the old. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're going back to the playoffs, right? Then when they lose, fire Doug Peterson. Let's get rid of Doug Peterson. Rid of it. This is a terrible year. The season's over, and we heard that a couple weeks ago. They got black. I could not believe. We were in Atlantic City that weekend when they played the Saints, and they just looked like a high school team that could run over.
The criticism is real, man.
It is real, but that's what makes Philadelphia great. You know what I mean? And that's what makes the fans passionate. But I'm asking you as a Philly fan and my listeners, of course, you can chime in. There are many ways, a plethora of ways. I love using that word. A plethora of ways to reach me on Facebook. Of course, everybody live right now on the Facebook Live app. You can just chime in on the comment section. We'll talk on air about whatever you say. Anything you say will be reiterated on the show. Everything you can attest to that, being listeners to the show. Everything you say, I will spit it back out to my listeners on Twitter at JoeUnis15.
It's a good honor to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. JoeYounes15 on Twitter for all my Philly listeners, and of course on YouTube Live, Across the Board Sports Talk Show on YouTube. We are live at the Beef Baron, 2366 Catasauqua Road, Bethlehem, PA. Is this your first time coming in here today?
Absolutely.
You haven't been to the Beef Baron yet?
I haven't been.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so you're gonna have a bite to eat now, right? After the show.
Absolutely.
I'd say, and I say this to my listeners too on the show, you got to have a Delmonico steak sandwich. I mean, even if you're like one of us in our culture, right, Laura? I think you can attest to this too. You put a Delmonico steak sandwich on the smell of it, the taste of it, it's the best sandwich ever. Period. And I get it with extra onions. I have something got extra onions, no tomato, because the tomato gets the blood soggy. That's what you should do. I'm promoting it not only because I'm here, but I would say this to anybody. This is a phenomenal sandwich here. But this is your first. Have you ever heard of the place?
I have actually not heard of it.
Wow, how about that?
Yeah.
So I think some people may not know. I mean, it is kind of hidden in a corner by Carvel and Party City. Party City's still open, right? Yeah, Party City, CVS. There's a Carvel. There's a nail salon that was like a massage place. That was I don't even know what that place was next door. It's a nail place.
But
now.
It seems like a great environment.
It's an awesome environment. Yeah, that's why it's great to be here, and of course, it is great to be involved on an NFL Sunday with such a big game. Everybody on the chat room, of course, you could chime in and get a comment. And my email is open too so I get a lot of people on the show throughout the show will email me too now. Like they email the website because people have linked myself to GodfatherLocks.com. So I'll get emails on the handicapping site about the show. People are getting all mixed up. You can reach me there as well to give your opinions on the game. But for you today, and I was saying about Carson Wentz, are you with me on Carson Wentz to take this team over, not only today, but the rest of the season? Like, how about I pose it to this, and of course on Facebook and YouTube. Is it more on Carson Wentz, or is it more on his playmakers to come through today and coming up? Like, what are you watching for today? Not only do you want the Eagles to win, but do you think this is what I've been asking for Carson Wentz, is to put pressure on and to come through in the clutch and to make plays?
I won't put too much pressure on Carson Wentz. I mean, Carson Wentz. I mean, it's his third year in the league, and he's still developing and trying to get into the system.
Yep.
But when you sign a person like Golden Tate, who's a deep threat,
yep.
you gotta take advantage of that.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Has that surprised you that they picked up a guy, Golden Tate,
and they still haven't used him?
Yeah, and the thing is, he was, for me it was, you get Golden Tate, you bring him in the offense, and then you only have like 20 plays for the guy. But when you went ahead and made a trade, use him more. Don't you think he should be used more?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think they're missing something. Are you a little surprised that he hasn't been used more when they traded for him a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
You are surprised, right? And why do you think that is, though? Like, what do you think as an Eagles fan that is? I mean, they're missing. What we were sold on was the little dump passes and the yards after catch.
Could be poor play calling by Doug Peterson. Coaching. Yeah, by the staff.
It could be. Could be. Now, what do you think of Doug Peterson? I mean, do you think? Look, I think for Philadelphia fans too, it's like he won us the Super Bowl. He's going to be forever remembered as this legend. A lot of Eagles fans have said that, where it's like, he won us the Super Bowl. Like, how can you rip? I'm not from the school of, and we got a bunch of comments saying, boys all the way, go Eagles fly. People tuned in now, of course, on Facebook Live and on the YouTube app. How much leash does Doug Peterson get? Let's say the Eagles don't make the playoffs this year. He's not going to get fired or anything like that. I mean,
no.
But you want to see the Eagles do this for how many years to come, right? You want a coach that's not going to just give you one Super Bowl. Like people always just say, Joe, is win me a Super Bowl and then be crap for the next years. I'm fine. That's not really the case. You know that, right? You're not going to be happy for the next 10 years. If they won you a Super Bowl last year, you're going to be like, all right, Eagles, you can just go ahead and
if
just.
the Eagles won the Super Bowl last year, why would they do us like this going into this season?
Yeah.
And going forward further?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's, to me, it's like you can't be. In the NFL, there's only one Super Bowl champion a week. And when you get that trophy, when you win that championship, it's a big accomplishment. But how many other teams have we seen this, Joe, just have a letdown spot the next year, right? There's teams that it's hard to. The motivation factor, you know what I mean? That's tough to do.
I mean, and here's the key to the game today.
Yeah.
It all comes down in the passing game, who protects the ball and who puts stats more on the field today between Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott. Mm-hmm. And then to the running game, it all comes down how if the Eagles can use Josh Adams and Darren Sproles efficiently.
Yeah.
Or it comes down to Cowboys using Ezekiel Elliott. Mm-hmm. So who's going to compose this game?
You heard the statistic. The Eagles are 5-1 when Ezekiel Elliott runs for over 100 yards. Okay? So the last time he played, the last time the Cowboys and Eagles played, Ezekiel Elliott had 150 yards rushing. So what does that tell you? Like the spotlight needs to be on stopping Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah,
that's where the spotlight needs to be. And if you're watching it as an Eagles fan, you got to worry about let's make sure that Ezekiel Elliott doesn't hurt us as bad as he did the game before that. You know, because the Eagles were still in that game. The Eagles were still in that game a couple weeks ago in Philadelphia. All my Eagles and Cowboys fans listening in live, I want predictions. I want comments. Who do you think that the key points are to the game today? I think for me, Carson Wentz and Ezekiel Elliott are the top two things in the game today. I think if Zeke runs for over 100, Eagles lose. Yeah. I would be stunned if Ezekiel Elliott runs for over 100 yards and they don't, and the Cowboys don't win the game. I'll be stunned.
Speaking of defense on the Eagles' part, last week against the Redskins,
I
was disappointed the way the Eagles let Adrian Peterson run from
99 yards.
99 yards.
97 yards. The Eagles' run defense has problems, Joe. You know that. You watch this team play.
Well, the secondary is exposed. Absolutely.
The whole defense, though. I feel like the whole defense has marks against it. And I think for me, it's for today specifically, if Zeke runs for over 100 yards, it's going to be tough for Philadelphia to win it. Now, can you hold him under 100? Can it be done? You think they can stop him under 100 yards? I mean, he's done it 6 times this year. So 50% of his games this year, Ezekiel Elliott has run over 100 yards, and they're 5-1 in those 6 games.
I think the Cowboys pass rush is going to win in this game if Ezekiel Elliott is protected.
Yeah. Well, okay, so Cowboys pass rush is key if they're going to win the game. Your prediction for the game? And you're a big Eagles fan, so I'm assuming you're going to go with the Eagles today.
I am.
You're going to have to.
But
what do you, as far as not only the score, but do you think it's going to be done offensively, or is the defense going to have to do what we just said and stop Ezekiel Elliott? Or they're going to give me a point, the number of points they need to score for you to think it's going to win? Because the Cowboys' offense doesn't blow anybody out. They don't blow anybody out. The Cowboys will keep you.
That's their weakness too.
Yeah, but they'll keep you in the game because their offense isn't that great.
Yeah.
So besides Zeke and of course Amari Cooper, but they're not gonna. It's.
I'll tell you this right now, off the bat. Cowboys win on defense.
Okay. That's if the Cowboys
win. No, if they win the ball game, it's gonna be all the defense.
Okay.
Eagles, it's gonna come down to Carson Wentz. Yeah.
So that's my question. Not only for all listeners too on the app is. Am I out of my mind by ripping Carson? I mean, I listen to local radio all the time. People are saying, dude, Carson Wentz is coming off that big injury. You know, you can't put too much pressure on him. Like you were saying earlier, he's coming off that big injury. Just relax. And I think for me, it's key and crucial for a guy of his stature and his all-star caliber talent that we know he has. This is a game you got to win, bro. You got to go out there and take this game by the horn. Air it out. If you can't get past that front wall, air the ball out, go deep, pass the, you know what I mean? Show the weaknesses of the Dallas secondary. Dallas secondary is not that great. They're not as good as the front 7 is.
Well, yeah.
So you're going to have Carson Wentz needs to take this game over today. That's what I want to ask the audience. Whose game is it to win today? Who steps up for the Eagles and the Cowboys? Give me your comments on the Facebook app and on YouTube Live.
So my prediction for the game is going to be 29-20.
29-20.
And the Eagles, I believe, like the gamble on 2-point conversions. Now, if it comes down to Dallas defense intercepting Carson Wentz and they take away this game,
which he's been turnover prone.
He
has been turnover prone.
It's going to be 30-29. Yeah.
Okay, so you think Dallas? So you're a little worried about this game.
I am.
You are worried about it. I am. All right, Eagles fans, let's get you talking about it. Cowboys fans on the app, of course. We've got Albert, big supporter of the show, and did you see that comment there coming in there on the chat room? He says I have iconic hair. I don't know why he loves my hair. I don't understand it. It is nice though. It is nice hair. You should be. He's saying I should be a shampoo hair model. That's not something I can do. And I need a haircut actually from my guys at the cut. But I definitely, it's growing. Let's just put it that way. It's growing. It's definitely wavier. But he's giving me some love on the Facebook app. And of course, you can reach the show on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. There's 3 different ways you can get to me right now: YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Twitter at Joe Eunice.
Like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah, like LSS. Yeah, you know that. Like, share, and subscribe here on the show. This is Joe's first time coming to Big Bearing, right? And he says this atmosphere is phenomenal, awesome. So a lot of listeners on the show. Of course, everyone tuned in right now live. This is where I'm at, 2366 Catasauqua Road. Joe was painting the shot. He's gonna have some great pictures up later today on the Facebook page, and of course, you'll see these fine pictures. I see some people eating right now, which is I'm hungry. That's why I didn't eat breakfast today. I saved myself. I told myself I'm gonna have 2 Delmonico steak sandwiches and an order of wings today. I can do it. That's why I'm this big, because you just keep eating. But I'll definitely have something to eat. And I want you guys to stop on by and have something to eat, as a lot of people do.
Joe, how about-
look, the game. Look, we're watching NFL Countdown right here.
Joe,
It's a
how
great
about
atmosphere.
how about this game today, Baltimore and Kansas City?
Yeah, this should be an interesting game. Lamar Jackson, of course. I think Flacco was questionable. I don't know if he's playing or not. I gotta check my.
No, Lamar Jackson. I heard
he
is
is starting.
starting.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson.
So Joe Flacco will be his backup tonight.
Yeah. So Lamar, it's going to be tough in Kansas City.
Yeah.
For the Baltimore Ravens to have some success, but look, he's fighting for that starting job. The debate of whether or not he should take over.
No, Lamar Jackson's a future quarterback.
Oh, for the future, but I'm saying
Yeah.
the rest of the season.
Well, yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's almost like that would happen to Alex Smith with Colin Kaepernick, right? Alex Smith gets hurt years ago. Colin Kaepernick comes in, has a great couple of games, and then they just leave Alex Smith on the bench. It's happening to Joe Flacco quietly in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson comes in, couple of big games. They're in the middle of the playoff push now. Pittsburgh shot themselves in the foot last week, blew a lead against LA, which I still can't believe. And if you watch the show, the Pittsburgh Steelers, you've heard me on the show a million times. I don't understand how the Steelers are 7-4-1 right now with all these weapons.
And they lost some good games against the Broncos, and who else did they lose to last week?
They blew the lead to the Chargers. Second half.
Yeah.
So for me, with that, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers have so much talent that they shouldn't be in a spot where you're 7-4-1 and you're half of a game up over Baltimore. Baltimore being 7-5.
James Conner's out, I heard.
Yeah,
too.
he's not playing today, which is a big loss for him. But they're in Oakland. I think they'll be fine without James. I think Pittsburgh will still win that game. But speaking of Baltimore with Lamar Jackson, it's Carson Wentz's mobility in the pocket to get outside the pocket because of that injury. It suffered a little bit. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
Like I don't know if someone's in his ear telling him to watch out how you're basically stay in the pocket, make throws in the pocket instead of running out.
Well, looking at footage last week against the Redskins,
Very hesitant.
He did move
a little
around
bit.
Yeah,
A little bit more than recently.
exactly.
Yeah, but when you have an injury like that, it's such a big loss for a quarterback. I think nonetheless, if you are a quarterback that gets injured with a ACL or an MCL, you're gonna be a little scared. I mean, it's human nature to be scared.
And my question to you, Joe, is: did the Eagles really rush Carson Wentz to come back from his injury?
No, they did not. They didn't rush him. That was the argument coming in. They didn't rush him. They asked the doctors if the doctors clear him, he's good to play. They're going to take the doctor's word for it. Remember, we read that report.
Absolutely.
So they said if he's cleared to play by the doctors, then he's good. We're going to bring him back.
But speaking for all Eagles fans,
Yeah.
a lot of people were debating why didn't Nick Foles continue going the rest of the season with the Super Bowl MVP caliber
for
like
this
Nick
year.
Foles.
For this year.
Absolutely.
Well, how were you as an Eagles fan? Were you pleased or disappointed with how Nick Foles started the season? The first couple of games. I mean, the Atlanta game was all J&J, if you remember that.
Absolutely.
Okay, the Colts game was Wentz's game.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay game in Tampa, he looked pretty poor for the first 3 quarters of that game. Tried to come back.
And he finished what? 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
Yeah, but they were down so big in that game, he just couldn't do enough to come back.
Yeah.
And even in the Super Bowl run, Joe, outside of beating Tom Brady and the Patriots, Nick Foles kind of just managed the team, though. I'm not taking anything away from some people who have said that Nick Foles needs to be brought in. There's been other people who have said you're not the only one that thinks that. Would you be against or for him? Are you one of those people that says, hey, Nick Foles should have been in longer? Did you think they rushed him back as an Eagles fan?
I think they did. Yeah.
Even if the doctor said you're clear?
Even if the doctor said, I would just keep him on the bench and just wait out and see when Carson really feels that 100% mentality.
Yeah.
And feels like
So
he's
even
coming back to that point.
if the doctors come and say you're clear to play, Carson, but we don't want to rush you back because we're personally still a little worried. We're still a little afraid that something's going to happen to you.
I mean, you got 2 good.
How would he feel about that though? If you're an athlete, you're Carson Wentz, someone tells you, okay, the doctors are telling me you're cleared. I'm the franchise quarterback. I'm Carson Wentz.
Yeah, but
and now my coach is telling me I can't play. How would that sit well with him? You have to put part of what I do on the show is like I did on Friday with Kareem Hunt was you put yourself in their minds. As crazy as that sounds, how can we put ourselves in Carson Wentz's mind and say, is an athlete really going to want to say, you know what, keep Nick Foles out there?
But you got to think about it, Joe. I don't see no hate relationship between them two.
No, there never is though.
And before the season started, Carson Wentz said to Nick Foles, "I owe you so much, buddy, for everything that you did.
Yeah.
I owe you so much in the world. I mean, everything that you've done for us last year, I owe it all to you." So, I mean, if they kept Nick Foles this season, I don't think Carson Wentz would have minded at all.
I mean, it's hard to believe that. I don't know. For me, it's hard. Like a competitive edge of a quarterback that's of his stature.
Yeah.
Like you've been hurt. You were hurt last year. You didn't get to enjoy a Super Bowl. Like that's big, man. Like the Eagles won a Super Bowl and he didn't even get to be a part of it. So like for me, Carson Wentz not being part of it, that has that chip on his shoulder. Like you gotta have some sort of edge where it's like this is now my redeem myself, get back on the field. Like I don't know. Let's ask the audience and see if anybody has a comment on that, because I don't think it would have sat well with Carson Wentz. I don't think it would have been something where it's like, hey, you know, I'm coming off this injury. It was a big injury, but now my doctors are saying it's clear, but my coaches are saying no. Even though it's probably for the best interest of the team, they could have held him out a couple more weeks. He may not have been 6-6 right now. How many games could Nick Foles have spun other than Carson Wentz? Like through their 6 losses, do you think Foles could have? Let's see, who did Carson lose to? The Saints. Can Foles? What would Nick Foles have done in New Orleans?
Yeah, good question.
Let's see, what could he have done differently? Like they lost 48-7. But if Nick Foles was in that game, what would the Eagles have? What would the outcome have been?
I mean, it would still have been a loss, but
Wouldn't have been as bad, maybe? They would have scored a little more?
They would have scored a little
That was
more?
Carson's worst game he's ever played.
absolutely.
I mean, that was probably the worst game he's played in a long time. You know what I mean?
I mean, and he took the initiative. He did.
He did.
Yeah, absolutely, he did.
But that was one of his worst games. But the way I look at it is I'm okay with Carson Wentz coming back. I'm not okay with the way the public and the way the fan base just gives him a pass.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I mean, he's a great quarterback, Joe. Don't get me wrong. I like the guy. Even as an unbiased fan, as a radio host, I like him. I just think that there needs to be some sort of pressure put on him. And especially if you lose today. If you lose today, this has to be a Carson Wentz game.
In the Carson Wentz category, who do you put him as? Who does he reflect on as being the future quarterback? Who do you see him as being
comparison?
A comparison.
Who's going to be the next? Who's Carson Wentz going to be the next?
The future Hall of Famers.
That's a good question, Joe. I don't know. That's a tough. The game is tough. Like man, that's a tough one. Carson has a lot of Big Ben in him, but he's not as big as him. I mean, he extends plays. He doesn't give up on plays. He's accurate. The only thing I knock on him is that he doesn't know when to throw the ball away when he's supposed to. That's what's gotten him into trouble. When he gets sacked, holding on to the ball, those couple of bad interceptions he's made.
But he's that type of guy that wakes up 5 a.m. and learns from his mistakes. Carson Wentz.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you on that. I think, but the thing is with Carson is like he's got a little. That's a compliment though. He's got a little Ben in him.
Yeah.
Would you be upset if I tell you he's a little bit of Ben Roethlisberger?
No.
Who do you compare him to? Tom Brady? No, he's not even like. I don't think he's anything like Tom Brady.
But can he be though?
Well, because the thing is with the Patriots is. You heard Tom Brady said if Aaron Rodgers was in this system, he would break all time and smash everything I've ever done. Tom Brady is reaping the benefits of Bill Belichick and the Patriots and the way that system has been made since the last 20 years.
But you see Carson Wentz
18 years.
When he's in the pocket, like outside, and he's like going clap, kill.
Yeah.
It shows me that he has that little bit comparison to Tom Brady.
He does, but he's not. But again, he's more of an elusive quarterback. He tries to get out and make some plays.
Yeah.
See, Brady's Brady's a little bit of a dump passes. Throw it 5 yards, go for 30, right? That's what Tom Brady does.
Let me ask you this.
Because the system changed. All of a sudden, the Patriots become a balanced offense.
Are we up for the Dolphins today?
Yeah, we do. We're gonna talk Dolphins in a second. See, not many people know this, Diane, that I'm a closet Dolphins fan. Not closet, but I am a Dolphins fan my whole life, man. Of course. We are gonna talk. Speaking of Tom Brady, he plays the Dolphins thing. Anytime it's Patriots Dolphins Day,
Yeah.
and I get it. My blood boils, man. My blood boils when I see Tom Brady across the field. But no, Carson Wentz for me can be a little bit like Brady, but I like a Big Ben comparison.
What about comparison to Phillip Rivers?
Phillips more of a gunslinger, though. Wentz has a little bit of that.
Yeah.
He does, but I think he can be better. See, Carson Wentz has so much upside. He has so much upside for his career. It's just, I feel like he's so loved that we don't criticize him. My Philadelphia listeners, everybody on the show, oh, we love Carson Wentz. But when he does wrong, he does wrong. And this is media that's always hyper-criticism. They always have high criticism. But for Carson, it's like, well, he's coming off of an ACL injury. I understand that, but he's cleared. So, there's got to be, today's the game. This is the game for Carson Wentz. If you're going to win you know what I'm saying? I feel like we all need to agree on that. Because if you're the star quarterback of your team, I've been calling for his head for 2 weeks. I've been saying on the show for 2 weeks. What is it about Carson Wentz? Is it his ginger redhead look? Is it his? I don't know what it is. I'm not a hater on him. I like the guy, but I'm just wondering. This is Philadelphia. I want to rip your head off when you lose town. And yet for Carson Wentz, and I haven't gotten an answer from anybody yet. Like no one can tell me why we don't give him the rightful criticism. Why is it? Is it because is it solely because of that injury that you're going to give him some time?
Could be. It could be. There's a lot of answers questions that need to be answered.
Yeah, I just don't understand it. I want to hear from Eagles fans. What is it about Carson Wentz that we don't want to put pressure on?
The question to you, Joe, is let's say the Eagles go on this streak
Yep.
to finish 10-6.
Yep.
Do they really want to jeopardize their 3-0 undefeated record in the playoffs? That Doug Peterson is.
Well, they have to. You got to go to the playoffs.
Well,
What
I
do
mean,
you do? You do. Just not go to the playoffs so we stay undefeated.
No, you do. But the way they're playing, though.
Oh, you mean they're not going to go anywhere with this?
Exactly.
Well,
exactly.
I mean, it's either I was listening to one of my colleagues back in the day, Mike Missinelli, the other day. He said he was basically posing questions like either you get into the playoffs, right, and have a chance to have a home playoff game, or not, or just sit at home. What would you rather have? If I know I'm at least getting to the playoffs and lose in the first round, at least I got to the playoffs. It's like when you play fantasy football, which we're gonna get to in like about 20 minutes. I don't even know what time it is. 12, whatever time it is. In 20 minutes, we'll talk fantasy football. It's like when you're a fantasy football team, you're like, well, my team is 5-7, but if I win today, I get in the playoffs. But my team, I'm not gonna win, so why would I get in? You still have a chance to get in the win money and get in, right? I don't know. So you don't think they have a chance to do any damage in the playoffs, do you? Even with the home game against Seattle or a home game against Minnesota in the wild card game, they could win that game.
Let's say hypothetically, all right? I'm gonna put a hypothesis out here, an educated guess.
Yeah.
That the Eagles play at home the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
Or the Dallas Cowboys, and then in the NFC divisional round, they play the Rams.
Okay.
Coming to Lincoln Financial Field.
Okay.
And you know how January is, cold atmosphere, everything. They win those 2 games. But come NFC Championship, the Saints, they're going to be playing in New Orleans.
Yeah, and you saw what just happened.
Yeah.
Do you think they can beat New Orleans? So you're saying, nonetheless, it's going to end either way or another.
Exactly.
That's
It's going to end in the NFC Championship.
If they get
If they get there.
Now, so you think they can go? Let's say they're the 3 seed, and they go to. You think they can beat LA in LA? They play them next.
No. I think they could beat LA if LA comes to Philadelphia.
And that won't happen though. It's impossible because LA's got they're 11-1.
But what if so
They
right now
can't-
they're,
they're not
no,
gonna
no,
slip.
right now they're
They can't
11-2. Let's say they lose the rest of their games and they go 11-5.
Yeah, the best Eagles can finish is 10-6, so they can't. They won't be able to catch the Rams. The only way the Eagles could get a home game is if they win the division and get that wild card round. They're going to be traveling the rest of the play unless the 6 seed beats a 1 seed in the second round. They're not going to have a home NFC Championship game. It's impossible. Yeah. And Dallas too. I mean, Dallas could easily run the table. They can go 11-5, and then get a home divisional game. Of course, whoever wins the division is going to get a home playoff game the first week. Then all of a sudden, you're in the second round of the playoffs against the Rams, against. It could be the Rams or the Saints in the second round. Someone's going to be playing those 2 teams in the next round.
Yeah.
And Dallas goes to New Orleans. I mean, they just beat the Saints. But can they beat them? Can anybody beat New Orleans?
Question is, who clinches first round bye?
Well, it's going to be Rams Saints. Who gets home field, you mean?
Yeah, that too.
So,
yeah.
what's interesting about that question is the Saints are 11 and the Rams are 11-1. Their 1 loss came to the Saints.
Yeah.
Okay. The Saints are 10-2.
Yeah.
So they're 1 game back, but they got to get. So they basically got to tie them.
Yeah.
I think today, and we're gonna get to our free picks. I don't know what time it is. Do you know what time it is? I'm losing my 12:45. So in 15 minutes at 1 o'clock. No, we can't do it. We have to do it now. We're gonna do the picks now because the game started in 15 minutes. Let's give out some free picks, all right? So 2 free picks of the day. The number 1 free pick of the day, I love Chicago. I love the Bears tonight.
That Rams and
the Bears. You know what? I wonder what the temperature is. I am getting a weatherman on the show. It's probably like 12 degrees in Chicago tonight. Has to be, right, Laura? Can you check the temperature in Chicago? It's like 15 degrees in Chicago at night under the lights. The Chicago Bears coming off a bad loss to the Giants. The Rams need a loss. Does anybody agree with that? They think they need a loss. They don't look like they want to take a loss. But I think today's a perfect spot for the Bears to get one of those emotional, big home, put us on the map type wins on Sunday Night Football. 8:30, 8:20, Sunday Night Football. I think the Bears are a good pick today. Bears +3. That's the pick of the day. I think. What do you think about that game?
I love the Bears, and that game against the Giants last week was Comedy Central, man.
The game against the against the when it went to overtime. Yeah.
That was Comedy Central.
That was interesting to watch.
Yeah,
The Bears. Chase Daniel. 27 degrees. I wonder what the wind chill is. I'm gonna get all meteorologists on you right now. The wind chill. What's up, man? The wind chill has to be like probably like 12 degrees.
Feels like 25.
Feels like 25. That's still cold though.
Yeah.
Not cold for me, but for most people.
The question is it windy?
Yeah, Chicago's always windy. The 25-degree weather. I think the Bears are a good.
Yeah,
pick.
I like the Bears.
Yeah. Now Eagles are plus 3.5, 3 points. The whether we're looking at it, they're a 3-point underdog. I wouldn't put my money on it, but if I had to bet on it, I would take the Eagles. Because again, you're taking a team that's fighting for their season. I'd rather take a team that's desperate than take a team that is playing with house money. Really,
And their higher chances go up. They go up to 60% if they win today's win.
Yeah. So I gave out the statistics earlier. The Cowboys right now have a 78% chance of winning the division. Right now, that computerized analytics and all the math that goes
And that
into
will go
it.
down, based off my research, they will go down to 50 if they lose tonight.
They will. It will 50-50. Yeah.
Exactly.
But 78%, 28% if the Eagles make the playoffs today, going into today. They have a 28% chance. If they win today, it'll then jump up, like you said, over 50%. This is why this game is so big for many of reasons. Huh?
You want the weather in Dallas?
I do want the weather in Dallas. Well, they're in a dome, though. They play in a dome. Doesn't matter. Now, this is another reason why Carson Wentz should have a good game. It's a controlled environment.
Yeah.
Right? It's a controlled environment. You know, Dallas doesn't have those home fans the way these other teams do. Like, when you go to New Orleans and you walk into that crowd and you have all those towels raised, it's not like a college football type atmosphere. This is an atmosphere where it's controlled. Dallas fans don't always come out in waves like that. They're not. It's not like that.
It could be a loud atmosphere, though.
It is loud, but
Yeah.
you see a lot of those neutral seats. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Dallas' stadium doesn't always show the respect of like the Saints or like the Rams or like the Bears the way it is at Soldier Field tonight. Soldier Field is going to be all Bears fans.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a controlled environment for Carson Wentz to go in there and do something and make plays and do it with his arm. That's why I feel like it's a Carson Wentz game today. Don't you just feel it? Don't you just feel it?
How many yards do you think he's going to put in the air? 300? Maybe three touchdowns? One interception?
He's going to need at least. Well, the over/under for touchdowns, I believe, was 1.5. No, 2.5. 2.5 is the betting number for Carson Wentz. You throw 3 touchdowns against Dallas, you deserve to win the game.
Absolutely.
Because Dallas' defense is that good. Absolutely. I want to get a Cowboys perspective. Whenever you're ready, Aziz, if you want to jump on, let's go. I want to swap you out for a second. Joe, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You jump back on too.
I will.
Aziz, we're gonna get a Cowboys perspective on this because it's I want to play both sides. The show works perfectly that we have an Eagles side and a Cowboys side. Of course, it's a pleasure to meet you, by the way.
You too.
I know the rest of the family. I've not gotten to meet you, of
No.
course. First, I want to talk about Beef Barry, of course, because you could talk about the food.
All right.
I think you ate already, didn't you?
Yeah, it was good.
How great is it here, man? Not just because your
awesome.
brother owns it, but how great is this place?
No, like you said, we used to come here when we were younger too, right?
Yeah.
With all our friends and come and hang out and have some Delmonico steaks. It was a popular place for us.
Yeah.
It was a good place to eat. And, yeah, it's awesome that my brother owns it now.
It's awesome.
Yeah, we get to come and enjoy it every once in a while.
Yeah, and it's such a likable guy too. Not just because he's your brother. I mean, your
Yeah.
family, we're all family and everything like that. But if you see someone, I always feel like, and a part of my advertising on the show, Aziz, is that I get a lot of local businesses, a lot of small businesses. And I don't feel like I should be promoting and supporting the chain restaurants. I'm just not like that. You know, and my sister's the same way. We just talked about this yesterday. Laura, we discussed this yesterday about supporting mom and pop spots over. Yeah, and I say that too, Aziz, because like you're supporting a local business, you're supporting family, but you're also getting the real food, the fresh food. There's nothing fake about it.
No, this is awesome. Yeah, we have a good time here, and we hope everybody else does too.
No, it's a great time. It's a great time.
No, that's good.
Yeah, 2366 Catasauqua Road, Bethlehem, PA. This is the spot to be. And of course, today for the games, I'm going to hang out, watch the 1 o'clock games. You know, it's great to be here. Of course, you want to stop on by, watch the Eagles-Cowboys. This is such a massive game for you as a Cowboys fan. I just had an Eagles fan perspective for about 30 minutes. What do you feel? First, let's talk about the season in general. Did you see this coming?
No, not until the Eagles game when they played pretty well and won in Philly. Then you could start to believe that, hey, they might turn something around here.
The Atlanta game on the road.
The Atlanta game on the road, and obviously the Saints game last week. Yeah, so yeah, now it seems to be building. So yeah.
And the thing is with Zeke too, man. Like it's hard for anybody. It's hard. How you doing? How you doing? It's hard for me too. You know, it's hard for me to look at Ezekiel Elliott and not think this guy is such a monster. The way he runs the ball, the way he's set. Not only even his 2 or 3 yard gains. It just seems like it's like. It sets the tempo, like it sets that offense up, and it covers up the weaknesses of Dak a little bit. You know, you really don't see his flaws as much when Zeke runs for over 100 yards.
Yeah.
You know, 5-1. I know you heard the stat. 5-1 when he went over 100 yards.
Yeah, he's awesome. I think he energizes the team, right? There's nothing more energizing when he has a nice run and he gets up
time he's just
Oh, yeah.
feed me the
me
ball.
the-
That's so energizing.
It is.
You know, and the team feeds off it, and then the defense just kills it. And so yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, and people always say like, well, his persona off the field or his attitude, the shirt,
Yeah.
the shirt always. Do you not remember Terrell Owens? Do we not remember all the badasses in sports? The Chad Johnsons, the Randy Mosses. It's okay to have a little bit of flavor, man. Are you against it, Beasley? I don't know.
No, I like it. I
Flashy.
like it. I love the end zone celebrations. I'm a fan of that. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Does he run for 100 yards today? Does he do it against a team that's very weak as far as?
Yeah, contrary to what you guys said, I think it's going to be a blowout. I think the Cowboys are going to blow them out.
There you go. And here's the spin side to it too, Aziz. If they do that, this division is theirs. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you're talking 3 games left. We're in the middle of December. They got the whole hold on this division, and it would be phenomenal for Jason Garrett to rip off. Let's put it in perspective. If you win this game, 5-game winning streak, you beat your division rival twice, and the New Orleans Saints.
Cowboys could go 11-5.
Yeah, they could. That's why it's such a big game for both. I'm sitting here speaking about the Eagles, saying this is a game for the Eagles because it's their season.
Yeah.
Right? This is their season on the line. It's a big game for the Cowboys because it can end their season.
It could.
Clips.
One thing I saw this morning was that if the Eagles do win,
Yeah.
they own all the tiebreakers with the Cowboys.
They do.
So it's a big game for both teams.
Yeah, it is because the Eagles have beaten the Giants twice. They would have beaten the Cowboys, and then you're assuming they beat the Redskins again in Week 17.
For Giant fashion.
No, the Giants are actually playing pretty well in the last couple of weeks. Their season's over though. But yes, and Jason Garrett, are you okay with
I
this?
like Jason
You
Garrett.
do.
I love his energy. I love that he's always seems to be positive. He's not. I don't know. I just like his energy and his positive. When the players come off, they have a big play. He's fired up for
He's
them.
fired up, yeah.
He's jumping her up on the sidelines. You know, so I enjoy that.
They call him the clapper, that he just cheers on everything. That people always say.
Yeah.
People always say that. They're like, well, he just cheers. Well, what do you want from a coach? The motivator, the clapper. I mean, the guys, they're winning games right now.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue what he's doing. There are people. I did a show a couple weeks back. A Cowboys fan jumped on and said they don't understand Jerry Jones's love with Jason Garrett,
Yeah.
and he has something. He connects with him. It's like a bond.
Yeah.
You know, they've been seen hanging out at Lakers games and
Yeah.
whatnot. But there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
Who cares?
I think it's nice. I think they should get along. They have a working relationship. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Yeah, I like it.
All right, Aziz thinks it's a blowout. You think the Eagles win?
29-20, yeah.
29-20. Predictions on the show, YouTube Live, Facebook Live. Of course, if you want to chime in, I will talk Dolphins, Patriots. I promise, Diane. We will talk a little bit of Dolphins, Patriots later. It's 1 o'clock start, so we're going to find out in a couple minutes how they look. One of my secrets, I've been a
Don't
Dolphins
give
fan.
one
my whole life.
3-game pick too.
I only get the Bears. I love the Bears today. If I had $1 million, I would bet the Bears tonight.
You would? Yeah.
Yeah, I would take the Bears tonight +3 because I just feel like it's a home dog. It's Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
I'm not usually like this. I don't usually think a team needs a loss for the playoff future. I don't like that bullshit. I think the teams winning keep winning, right? But the Rams, they kind of need a loss.
Yeah.
Slow down a little, get humbled a little bit, like the Saints were.
Yeah.
The Cowboys humbled them last Thursday.
Yeah.
Like, that could help a team psyche.
Yeah, it's helpful to have. It is helpful to have that loss, right? Otherwise, like
Run
the
into the playoffs.
New England Patriots go undefeated, and you have that loss in the playoffs. It's devastating.
Yeah, like the Chiefs now losing Kareem Hunt. People were saying, well, how can they fight through adversity? How can they battle through it? How can they? Well, I mean,
Spencer were very good last week.
yeah, I don't think it's that huge of. I mean, it's a big loss. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like, Kareem Hunt. We did a show on Friday about Kareem Hunt. We talked about it. Again, people say it wasn't that big of a deal. Some people said, hey, once you touch a woman, it's over. That's me. I think he's an idiot. But they do have Patrick Mahomes. They do have Tyreek Hill. I mean, what do you coming out of the AFC? I know you're a Cowboys fan. What do you like in the AFC? Do you like a team in the AFC specifically? Chargers getting a lot of love too now.
I think the Chargers are coming on really strong. Yeah,
feel
Kansas
like they're a
City is.
sleeper.
Yeah, Kansas City's playing well. Even without Hunt, so I think they'll do pretty well. The Steelers, I hate to say it. I know they've blown a couple leads over the last couple weeks, but I still think they're a strong team.
That's my Super Bowl pick.
Is it?
Oh man, the first time we did the show, the pregame show of the season. You always all these radio shows we have to do the Super Bowl predictions. Who do you like? It was Saints Steelers, and I got so much hate from that. Saying the Steelers, don't you see? There's, and this is even before Kansas City was on the map. New England runs the AFC. That's everyone's argument. Is New England runs the AFC? Well, Pittsburgh put aside some coaching decisions, they've got a lot of talent. Man.
I think so, too.
I mean, how are you 7-4-1 with Big Ben and AB and James Conner and Juju Schuster?
Yeah.
That makes sense. They're a
Yeah.
better team than 7-4-1.
Yeah, and as a Cowboy fan, you know, we hate the Steelers, right?
Yeah.
But
Have to.
I root for James Conner because he was a Pitt graduate, and my daughter goes to Pitt.
Yeah, that's
we
awesome.
kinda-
She goes to
so
Pitt.
we-
That's
yeah,
awesome.
so we watched them. We watched him play for 4 years, and he's awesome. So and he's
And plus,
a great story.
battle.
Yeah, he's got a great story.
Anytime you battle through any sort of cancer, any sort of fight like that, I'm a big fan of you. Period. I mean, that's a phenomenal story. But the whole Le'Veon Bell situation too, like that's another thing. He took that by the horn, man. He got thrown in the fire. You're a starter now.
I picked Le'Veon Bell
Me too.
in my fantasy, and he never came in.
Me too, man.
Yeah.
My team ended up being 5-4-9
Yeah.
because I just couldn't recover. I mean, you
Yeah.
get your first pick.
Yeah.
Another Cowboys fan in the house.
Yeah.
Oh, we have you can tackle him. We have another fan of the show, and of course, Cowboys fan, DeMarco Murray jersey.
Oh,
That's a little old
that's a
school.
little school.
Yeah, a little different. I don't know how that would be received in thing. Oh, what is this? Oh, Bucks, Saints, Bucks. Yeah, that's another. That's the big one for the Saints. Now, speaking of Cowboys, let's assume the Cowboys blow out the Eagles today.
Yeah.
All right, let's assume they get a win and they beat the Eagles. What's your take on the playoff? What do you think they can they do damage? Can they go to New Orleans and beat the Saints again?
The reason I do believe they can.
Okay.
And the reason I do is because their defense is so solid. If it was all on their offensive side, it's a little more difficult to win on the road when it's you're counting on your offense. At home, I mean, on the road, if your defense is solid, I think you can do some damage.
Absolutely. And defense wins championships. We always say it like that. That's such a big thing in the NFL. And I know you heard me earlier, Aziz, too, is like, in the NFL, it's all about how can you outscore somebody, right? That's what the league has become. You know, let's put up points to outscore another team. The Cowboys are doing it the opposite way.
They are.
Isn't that good? It's refreshing, though.
It's awesome.
That's why I'm okay. I don't have anything against Dallas. I thought they're a franchise that they were great for so many years. But I look at it as like this is refreshing to see in an NFL. Everyone is dropping 40-some points. That they're playing it with Van Der Esch and the front seven and the pressure on the quarterback.
Go back to
and
that
Lawrence and you know what I mean?
Go back to the Dallas Jaguars game.
Yeah, exactly. 41-0 or 41-9,
7.
41-7 when they blew out Jackson. You know, it's good to see that.
It's similar to like the Eagles last year on the road when they won on the road on their Super Bowl run. You know, their defense was solid, and that's what helped them get over the hump too.
It should help them.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
It is 1 o'clock. It is across the board sports talk. So I'm getting some emails from some man. This rivalry, right, is always big because it's it's such a big game, not only for the division but for the NFL. Like the NFL tunes in for this game. Like this is, it means a lot. You know what I mean? Like I don't. An email from a guy saying, "Dude, stop putting pressure on Carson Wentz." How do you feel about that? Like, do you agree or disagree with me?
Yeah, I agree. They need to put a little more pressure on him. I agree. He hasn't played up to what he has in the past, but like you said, he is coming back from an injury, so you got to give him a little bit of slack there because he's coming back. But I don't know. If I was an Eagles fan, I would put pressure on him because I thought Nick Foles did a terrific job last year, and
That's what Joe was
and
saying.
filling in this year as well.
Yeah. And Nick Foles, the whole debate in the offseason was the guy beats the best quarterback in the NFL, beats Tom Brady, wins the Super Bowl. How do you not bring him back? How do you not? And then they couldn't pull a trade for him. They couldn't make a trade work with the draft pick or something like that. Nick Foles should be starting in the league somewhere, hands down.
He will.
I mean, Cody Kessler starts for the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Think about that. Like for a second, Cody Kessler is
Yeah.
the starting quarterback for the Jaguars. So he should be starting somewhere.
He should.
I don't know what the love is with Carson. I've said it on the show before. Like he's coming off that injury, I get it. But when you're put in a spotlight today, 425 to beat the Cowboys, he needs to play better.
It's a lost world in Jacksonville. Ever since that run they had last year and benching Blake Bortles this year, they went down.
The Jags. It's crazy to think the Jags are.
How you beat the Patriots and then all of a sudden you go 3-9?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Tough season.
Yeah, on Carson Wentz, I think that like somebody's mentioned earlier that his upside is there. So
I was saying that.
that's what they're believing. They're believing, okay, we saw what he could do in the past, so we'll cut him a little bit of slack this year, but he'll continue to make progress and get back to where he was.
He should. But I feel like today, divisional game in Dallas, when you know that front seven's going to come after him, you're going to need those. Golden Tate could be a key part of today's game to see what he's involved with. But again, I would not be shocked if Dallas goes out.
Yeah.
I would not be shocked if the Eagles win outright. It can go really either way today. This could be a 35-10 score.
And I haven't heard a lot from Nelson Aguilar this season, so he needs to have a big game.
Yeah, well, they need a big threat. They need a big threat play. I mean, it's hard to beat a defense like Dallas. Man. It really is.
Yeah, they played out of their minds though against the Saints. So can they repeat that? You know, who knows if they can repeat that?
Well, I was making that point. I saw you in the back there, and I was talking about how those big games in the layoff, right?
Yeah.
Big Thursday night emotional game. You've seen it before. I know you follow football your whole life.
Yeah.
It happens a lot, man.
It happens.
You see a team just fall off.
We overreact to one big game or one bad game, and then the next game you see that team flips it.
Exactly. We'll see what happens tonight. I thank you so much for coming on with us.
thanks for having me.
I know
It's
this is great. Yeah, it's a great time to be here. It's great to see people hanging out and eating and enjoying the games. Man. It's awesome.
It's good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you for joining. That's Aziz. Of course, his brother Abe owns the Beef Baron here at Catasauqua Road in Bethlehem, PA. 2366 in Bethlehem, PA. Of course, come on by, have yourself a bite to eat. We gave out a free pick. It's the Bears. I know it's 1 o'clock. I do want to talk a little bit about Patriots Dolphins for a second because Diane's sitting here, and not many people know that on the show. I think we leaked some information today that I was a longtime Dolphins fan. Love the team, still do. And of course, through all their troubles, I still support the Miami Dolphins. Still watch them. The Patriots with Tom Brady 9-3 today, coming into a 6-6 Dolphins team. Where I look at it, and I say to myself, this division, this run that the Patriots have been on is always big, right? It's always big to see the Patriots get and then another AFC East championship. We're here?
I got the other one.
Oh, okay. The AFC picture has always run through New England. Are you sick of Tom Brady? Are you over it? Because I am. I'm totally fatigued. Not only as a Dolphins fan, but I'm just tired of the Patriots. I'm tired. I've used this topic before. We've talked about it on the show before. The Tom Brady element, I'm just done. I'm done with Tom Brady. If he never plays an NFL game again, I'm happy about that. He's ruined my life for about 17 years. I've been suffocating and suffering from Tom Brady syndrome. I'm over Tom Brady. But as an unbiased Eagles fan, do you not see how you can hate the guy? You not see it?
I hate him.
I mean, you beat him last year, so it doesn't bother you. It doesn't bother many people when you beat him.
Joe, we did the whole world a favor last year. It was us against the
It
world
was. It
mentality.
really was. It really was. It was. Joe's right.
Yeah, it was us against
The Eagles
the world
did. The
mentality.
Eagles did the world a favor last year by beating Tom Brady, and we can agree on that. But when I look at as a fan of football and NFL, the 1 o'clock games are starting. I look at it and I say, this to me is Dolphins Patriots game. Every time I see that logo, I get sick because I've seen them upset New England on Monday Night Football when they wore their orange jerseys. I've been there when even when the Dolphins aren't good and they're like 3-9 and they're going and playing New England, they beat New England. It's a Super Bowl for us. Like it's a big game. That's when so today it's a little bit different vibes. The Eagles and the Cowboys, it's about getting in the division, winning the division, right? For the Patriots and Dolphins, just beat Tom Brady. Just beat Tom Brady. That's what it's about today.
I
Just get a win.
love that rivalry matchup. I think that rivalry is not.
It's underrated. It's underrated. It is underrated. Because the Dolphins always give them their best shot.
Yeah.
Dolphins always give them their best shot. They didn't do so hot earlier in the year.
It boosts ratings when it wants to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The Dolphins, and it just seems like when is a team going to the Jets, the Bills, the Dolphins going to over? It's not going to happen until Brady's out.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
The preview of the Super Bowl everybody was talking about, the Chiefs versus the Rams.
That's not going to happen.
No, but
You mean like a preview of Super Bowl?
no. Everybody was talking it was gonna be a preview of the Super Bowl. But during that game that night, that Thursday night football matchup, NFL made some money big time.
Of course, it was 54-51.
Yeah.
It was Monday night. It was Monday night.
Monday night?
Yeah, it was Monday Football.
Yeah,
No, that's all right.
Thursday night.
Monday Night Football, 54-51.
Yeah.
That's why what the Cowboys are doing, Joe, is totally different because you look at it. That game right there is the epitome of the NFL. 54-51. That is what the NFL is all about these days. Just outscore somebody.
As people who love the NFL, they love to enjoy stuff like
Of course.
this. Yeah.
But Joe, you've heard my show all year.
Yeah.
They've put in these rules for that reason. They put in these rules because they want athletes and teams and players to drop 50, 60 points.
Yeah.
They want that. They want a high-scoring game. They don't want 13-10 like the Cowboys and Saints. They want 54-51.
Because they have contract with third parties and they want that excitement.
Exactly. Exactly. But are you more of the side of you want a defensive game or an offensive game? Do you like the fact that would you rather see 35-30 games or 45?
That was on both sides, man. Clicking all cylinders.
So
that was a game of a thriller, man.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you say? I mean, both sides really gave their hearts out in that game. It could have gone to sudden death. It could have been a tie game.
It could have. I look at it as far as the fans in the NFL these days, the younger fans, right? The younger crowd, the young teenage fans, and they want points. Everybody wants points. It's like when you talk to a bettor in football, it's always, hold on a second. Joe, you might get these games on? Ask them to put some games on. Is that a basketball? Yeah, anything NFL, if they can. Oh, is it that loud in here?
Yeah, it's picking up.
Wow, okay, so the loud's a little loud. We're trying to get. You know, you talk about the young fans of the NFL. Of course, we are live. It is 1 o'clock, I believe, 1:05, 2366 Catasauqua Road, Bethlehem, PA. We are at the Beef Baron, having a great time right now. You hear the crowd, the sound in the background. Bear with me for the next 20 minutes. We're gonna get through the show here. The crowd is, you know, the noise is gonna run up here as far as the show. I don't know if you can hear me a little better. We'll try to make it work here with the microphone, but the noise is a little loud. But we are trying to make the best of it. Of course, I'm speaking of the young fans of the NFL, the fans that are, you know, they want points. They want points, right? They're like, for me, I want 54-51. I'm good with it. I'm okay with betting the over. That's 80 points. I just want to see points scored. For me, it's you know, sometimes it's about 13-10. Sometimes those games are old school, old-fashioned games are good. I'll say this, if the Eagles score 24 points today, they win the game today. They win the game because 24 points against a team that's offensively challenged. Thank you, Abe. Thank you. Made the day. I feel lost. As we're doing this show, I feel a little confused. But the games are put on here live right now. Of course, we are here, 2366 Catasauqua Road in Bethlehem. We are live at the Beef Baron. We've got the games on. I'm smelling the food right now. The peppers that come with the sandwich is phenomenal. The fries, you can grab yourself a sandwich. I'm gonna have a Delmonico steak sandwich. They've got the roast beef sandwich that Abe was talking about earlier that I gotta try. I'm definitely gonna try a roast beef sandwich because I like roast beef. Roast beef that comes with that the sauce, right, Abe? The juice sauce. Oh man, how about that, Laura? You know my roast beef love. Woo! Maybe we change it up. Maybe we go one Delmonico steak, one roast beef sandwich. Yeah, one of each. I think we'll do both. What are you gonna have here? You're gonna have you have to try the little steak sandwich. Right?
I mean, I'm going with the burger, but
well, Abe was saying the burger's the biggest seller. Yeah. Who can never turn away a burger, right? Burgers are so like across the board, right? Maybe you just have a burger anytime. But as I was saying about the points, right? I think in the NFL, fans are now trained that they want to see high-scoring games. Fans are trained. Am I right or wrong about that?
No.
That the NFL, with the rules being changed, with the penalties and the flags and all that stuff, they want high-scoring games. They want 50s. They want 40s. Are you okay with the Eagles' style today being, let's slow the game down and run the ball, or do you want them to air it out like I was predicting, like I thought they should do? What do you? I know Josh Adams had a really good game last week. Yeah. Excuse me, he's looked good. What would you rather see?
I like them attacking the run game.
Attack run game. So slow it down.
Slow it down. Yeah.
Okay. That's fair enough.
Don't put your playing call schemes out there too quickly. Yeah. Because that's how the team's gonna take advantage of it.
But you don't think it will benefit Wentz to air it out and use the secondary as an advantage?
I would do that, but like around second quarter, third quarter. Yeah.
Well, then what if you're trailing? Then you know what's going to happen. Like Dallas's front seven is so good that you're going to put pressure on the quarterback and cause him and make him make bad decisions and throw some interceptions. So when the Cowboys, they pin their ears back. I know you heard that saying before. So when you have a lead, if you're Dallas and you're in the front, you're going to be able to pin your ears back and draw more pressure because then the Eagles become desperate. Then you start to try to make plays.
Desperate times calls for desperate
exactly.
measures.
And then what happens is the interceptions, the fumbles, they can become turnovers. I think the keys to success today is simple. You got to, as crazy as it sounds, if you want to reinvent the wheel, they got to slow down Zeke and Elliott. They have to slow down. If Zeke runs for over 100 yards, the Cowboys win the game.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's the unfortunate situation with that is that you cannot have this guy go off for 100 yards.
Absolutely.
If he runs over 100 yards, can the Eagles win? Do you think they can win?
I mean, I'm not gonna, take it away from the Eagles. I mean, it's possible, but I mean, if the game gets out of hand, it's hard to come back.
It better be in the game plan where they do try to slow him down.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
A couple early scores coming in on the score wire.
Otherwise, he's gonna go inside that bucket and he's gonna give the money to charity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Bucks have scored 7-0 over the Saints. The Bucks are up 7-0. The Patriots have scored. Diane, unfortunately, they're on the board. The Patriots have scored. Let's see. I think it was Tom Brady. No, it was a run play. The Patriots are up 7-0, and then Carolina's on the board 7-0. The Eagles are a 3-point underdog today. 3-point underdog. It's an average home game for the Cowboys. You're gonna see a 3-point home.
Also, you gave me
advantage.
2 free picks. You gave the Eagles and the Bears.
Yeah, I do like the Eagles. The Bears are my favorite pick of the day. I don't even, you know what? I don't even care about the 1 o'clock games.
Who's your last free pick?
What do you mean?
You give
Just two. I'm just doing 2 today. No, I'm very selective on the free picks. I think the Bears are the pick of the
You don't
day.
want to give too much away.
No, I don't. I mean, if you want to buy the picks, you go to GodfatherLocks.com.
I
It's
got you.
the best way to do it. If you want something on the side, I'll tell you after the show. But no, it's the Bears today. I feel like is a great. I mean, you gotta like the mystique about Soldier Field on Sunday Night Football for a team that's coming off a bad loss against the Giants. I just feel like all signs point to a big win for the Bears today. I really do, man. I don't think. I just think for me, it's a big game. It's a big game for Chicago. I think the Rams could suffer a loss today. I don't think they're 11-1. All right, they're going to have a bye week. Whether or not they get the home field is another conversation. The Bucs are up 7-0 on the Saints early. Not that the Saints they can come back easily in that game, but this could be a chance for the Rams to be humbled a little bit. Like Dallas brought the Saints a little bit back down to earth last Thursday. You could all agree. We could agree on that. Like the Saints, they were riding such a high. And everybody was on the Saints wagon. Everyone's saying, will Drew Brees lose a game this year? That's what everyone was saying. Will they lose another game? They were on a 10-game winning streak, Joe, coming into that game last Thursday. So the Rams, they kind of need to slip up a little bit.
And Drew Brees' stats is phenomenal.
It is. He's a
30
great
touchdowns, 3 interceptions,
Yeah,
125 quarterback rating.
He's a great quarterback, but it's okay. Like, and I'm not one to say to take a loss or, but it's good for the psyche of a team to lose a game. I don't know. I'm from that school of you don't want to make it the whole way where it's like, you're in a playoff run and you haven't had that experience of a loss. That you haven't had a challenging game up to that point. I think Chicago 8-4. Remember that division's up for the grabs with Chicago and Minnesota. Right? They're neck and neck.
6-5-1.
Yeah, they're 6-5-1, 6-5-1, and the Bears are 8-4. So if the Bears win today, Minnesota loses tomorrow. That's a 3-game lead. So the Bears could essentially win the NFC North if they continue with. This is why it's such a big game. How about another couple games coming up later on? What do you think about tomorrow? What do you think about Minnesota Seattle? A question earlier was actually pretty good.
To be honest with you, I like Seattle.
Seattle to beat Minnesota. 7-5. They're a 3-point favorite tomorrow at home. Minnesota seems like a team declining. They're declining a little bit. I don't know what's.
I mean,
gotten into that team.
during the offseason, they made so many changes. I mean, if I was the coaching of that team, I would have kept what's his name, the previous quarterback. What's his name?
Case Keenum.
Case Keenum.
Well, yeah, they went out and paid for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I think it's the defense though. The defense is not playing as purple eater type defense that they have.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the game against Green Bay a couple Sunday nights ago. They got the win, but it was like pulling teeth to stop the Packers. Then they go on a road last week and they couldn't do anything offensively against New England. And they got gashed, man. I mean, even the Patriots, as the Patriots are, the Patriots last week. If you're Minnesota, which they were very prideful on defense, right? That's what the Vikings were about. Did they show up last week? No, they didn't. They got eaten alive. So the NFC is such a wide open conference, but the Saints and Rams are here. The Cowboys are right here, and the rest of the pack.
Yeah.
Like the rest of the teams are right below.
Yeah, they're looking up.
Exactly. They're looking up at the rest of the guys. And I think that's what the situation is for the NFC. I think in the AFC, you heard Aziz mention earlier, I think Pittsburgh's still got talent. I think Pittsburgh's still got a chance. The Chargers, like you said, sleeper team. They are. And now, they put themselves on the map by beating the Steelers last week. Now everybody's talking about
Let me ask, speaking of the Chargers, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Is Phillips destined to win a Super Bowl before he retires?
That's a tough question, man. He's one of those quarterbacks. I hate to say this, but I think he's going to end up being like a Dan Marino. Like, I feel like he's never going to win a Super Bowl. And look, there's a lot of great quarterbacks that never won a Super Bowl, Joe. Like, I feel like a lot of people don't understand about the NFL is that there is, for me, one Super Bowl. It's so hard to criticize a team or a player that never won a Super Bowl because there's only one Super Bowl champion a year. So if the guy never wins a Super Bowl, yeah, it's not the greatest thing. It's not great. But is it really going to take away from all the career numbers he's had? Is it going to take away from as good of a quarterback as he's been? Like if you don't win a Super
His
Bowl,
career stats will always be there and he'll carry with him.
That's what I mean. So for me, it's like I don't think that's the case. I think it's you look at it from is he a good quarterback? Has he made the Chargers relevant? The last couple.
The window of opportunity for him to be recognized as a Hall of Famer is open.
It is.
Yeah.
But he's a good quarterback. I like Rivers. But it's Super Bowls. I just don't see the Chargers winning a Super Bowl. I don't know. There's certain teams that you look at, you're like, I don't think you can win a Super Bowl.
Let me ask you this: would it be a Super Bowl story if it was Drew Brees versus Phillip Rivers in the Super Bowl?
Absolutely.
And Drew Brees for the Chargers.
Absolutely, that would be awesome. I think that would be such an easy storyline to talk about. Breeze versus Rivers.
And the NFL will get some ratings and money out of it.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. All right, it is Across the Board Sports Talk Show. We got about 10 minutes left here. We are live at the Beef Buried, 2366 Catasauqua Road, Bethlehem, PA. This show is evergreen, of course, on YouTube and on Facebook Live. You will see the link the rest of the week. Once you try the food, Joe, you're going to tell people to come eat here. I'm telling you, man. And can you smell it? You smell it. Yeah, you can smell the food being made. The food is being made literally right behind
I
us.
can smell some barbecue right now.
Yeah, and it is. And there's just some great, that's probably the roast beef and all that great smells that happen here at the Beef Buried. It's a nice little spot. It's a cozy atmosphere. It's a spot to watch some games, enjoy it, have a bite to eat. I don't like the big crowds, right? I don't like going to a bar. I don't know how you feel about this. I don't like going to a bar to watch NFL games where there's like 7,500 people and the TVs are just 4 or 5 TVs. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to call out any specific names of restaurants and stuff like that, but I would rather come here. I would rather come to a spot where you have literally 2 different games on. You're hanging out, 2, 3 games. You watch the games you want, like Eagles Cowboys, 425, right? You can be watching it at home, right? Or you can go out and watch just that game. Do you really care about the Chargers and the Bengals? No, I'm not. Hey, not me. I'm very. Oh, okay. I got some Cowboys. He didn't say anything bad about the Cowboys. No. The Cowboys-Eagles game. There's one game on. It's like
the rivalries are cooking up.
Yeah, of course. Well, he's got a DeMarco Murray jersey on too. You can't mess around with that. I know it's authentic.
Look at you, my Randy White jersey.
No, that's bow down. Bow down to Randy White. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, obviously, Cowboys fans are feeling themselves now, though, man. You got to give it to them. Cowboys fans are feeling them. But I was saying, like, a game like today, Eagles-Cowboys, this is a game where you don't really care about what's happening on the other games, right? Like the Lions and the Cardinals. Nobody cares. You don't care. Steelers, Raiders, of course, the Steelers need to win. They want to try to get back on track. But you're not really focused on the other game. This is America's game of the week. This is the biggest game of the week. This is the type of atmosphere you want to go and watch just one game, right? You just want to say, I'm here, I'm watching Eagles Cowboys, I'm locked into this game. This is the game of the year, and that's it. And that's what it's about. And that's what you're gonna. What are you doing for the game today at 425? Your house?
Probably.
You gotta focus on this game, right? Now, for Eagles fans, I know fans that they just want to be left alone. They don't want to be in public when these games are on because it's such a big game. You want to watch every play. You want to hear the game.
A game like this is like a heart attack game.
It is, man. It is because it's gonna be a lot of stress, and they can't let up today. They can't let. Diane, Miami has responded. They have responded. It is 7. They have the lead actually, because New England missed the extra point. So the Dolphins are up 7-6 right now against New England. So how about that? A little bit of an upset early. It's always a big. I say you can feel it. They can win that game. Changes things a little bit.
And the game is down in Miami.
It's in Miami.
Tom Brady struggles.
He does struggle in Miami. Yeah. We got a little chip on him a little bit. We get to Tom Brady in Miami over the last couple of years. He hasn't been perfect. He's not God. He's always won those games. But that's going on right now. Of course, a lot of other games going on. Carolina, Cleveland 7-7. Atlanta's up 7-0 against Green Bay. Kansas City 0-0. I'm watching this game right here. Redskins, Giants 0-0 in the first. That's kind of a Redskins are trending down, man. They're trending down. The Redskins have lost their quarterback. It almost seems like they're just limping. What do you think about Mike McCarthy and the Packers? We didn't get to get into that today on today's show. I know it's a lot of Eagles-Cowboys discussion. I felt like it was a long time coming that this guy lost his job. I don't want to see people lose their jobs or anything like that.
That's one of the biggest storylines in the NFL I heard.
Yeah, but it had to be done, Joe. The guy needed to get let go.
And it happened close to the end of the season.
Yeah, but the Packers, when you cannot beat, okay, a team like the Arizona Cardinals at home as a 14-point favorite.
And did you know this is the first time the Cardinals won at Lambeau Field?
Ever. So what did you expect to happen on Monday? I mean, or Sunday night, actually, not even Monday. Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback. That's Joe's boy. Joe loves Aaron Rodgers. But sarcastically saying that, Joe. Of course, JDM Photography. Big shout out to JDM Photography for being on location here at the Beef Buried in Bethlehem, 2366.
All thanks to that man right there. All thanks to that man.
Yeah, no, Abe's a great guy, man. He's a great owner. And, obviously we talked to Aziz about the Cowboys, but it's great. On this show, we support local businesses. I said that a million times. That's what this is about. This isn't about a chain restaurant. I don't have any of my advertisers on the show are local guys. They're local. Yeah, because that's what we're about. local radio show. We want to make sure, and this is, Abe for welcoming in here and having a show. That's a big shout out to him. So not only is the food great, the service is great. And you saw all the places you go to, there's great service, and that's what it's about here at the show. But Joe bringing the video, of course, YouTube Live, Facebook Live here on the show. That's what it's about. So big shout out to you.
I feel like you and I could go all night and talking about
No,
football.
I can go. Ask my wife; she'll tell you. I don't stop talking football. We can talk football anything you want. We talk sports, not just football. I posted on Facebook yesterday that I want to do a soccer segment on the show because I love the Premier League and I love soccer. I'm up at 6:30 every day. Oh, every weekend pretty much. Every day I'm up like 7:30. But I'm watching Premier League soccer. I'm watching the Spanish league. I'm watching the Italian league. I'm
NBA.
Watching, college football bowl season is right upon us. So, and we're going to be here in March. Of course, we're going to be here a couple times before that, but we'll be back for March Madness. We're going to be doing a show for March Madness here. If you want to stop on
Next
by for
couple
that.
months.
Couple months, yeah. In March, we'll be here on the game. This is like, you can't beat it, man. Like, this is great. You get food, you get drinks, you get to watch a couple games, especially when these games are everyone's watching the same thing. It's not like you're watching a specific game.
You know, last year in March Madness, I picked Villanova to win the whole thing. Villanova.
Yeah,
win the whole championship.
It was a very popular pick last year.
Yeah.
The Villanova Wildcats. They're off to a little bit of a weird start this year. They
Yeah.
lost a couple of games this year, but they'll be back in the mix. March Madness is always a time to sit back and watch games, and people take off from work. People don't even show up to work because they watch March Madness. That's what's crazy about it. Last minute comments, questions about the Eagles Cowboys. We're gonna get them in here. I'm looking forward to eating. Right, I can't wait to eat this Delmonico steaks here. Get a bite to eat. Watch these games. Of course, you said you're gonna have a nice burger.
Nice burger.
Yeah, and enjoy it too as well. And of course, takeout orders are welcome. You can come on by, have a draft beer if you want to take it home. If you're watching the Eagles Cowboys game from home, you can take out and do a takeout order. But I'm from the school of watching this game, and for me, it's like I watch it like one game, right? It's one game. Focus on this game. This is the biggest game of the Eagles season, man. Comes down to this. So by 7:30 tonight, you're gonna know if this team's in the playoffs or not. If this team has a chance to make some noise. 3-point line. I gave out the Eagles as a free pick. I'm going to stand by it. I think it's a good pick. I think they win the game. I think they're going to have to try to slow down Zeke as much as possible. I mean, him not getting over 100 yards is going to be tough. But Carson Wentz, man. Carson Wentz. This needs to be a Carson Wentz game. 425.
I feel like on defense today, the Cowboys-Eagles game, Fletcher Cox has to step up. He has to step up.
Someone needs to. Someone needs to clog the middle.
And we don't know if Tim Jernigan's going to be playing. I think he is.
I think he is playing. It was probable the way I saw it this morning.
Yeah.
Zach Ertz, another big one.
Yeah.
Nelson Aguilar. I heard you mention Nelson Aguilar earlier. Alshon Jeffrey, right? Golden Tate.
Yeah.
Josh Adams. There's a lot of players that need to get their hands in the mix today and make some
I heard
plays.
Mac Hollins is coming back too.
Yeah, I don't know what spot he's gonna have. I mean, they have a lot of weapons.
Yeah, they have a lot of weapons.
The thing with the Eagles is I'm not really worried about their receiving core and the tight end and even the running game showing some life lately. I'm just worried about that rushing defense. Like, I'm concerned about what they can do on the ground because Ezekiel Elliott has proven that he can take over a game, and when you're 5-1. When you run over 100 yards, that says a lot about what he's doing.
But think about it. If Josh Adams and Darren Sproles, if they use those guys efficiently tonight, tonight's game, today, they can run with that game. They can put big numbers on the ground.
Hopefully, but against the Dallas defense that's top 4 in the league.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be a tough game to look at. And I think for the Eagles, it's hard to admit or to say this team is not as good as they were last year because winning a Super Bowl is such a big victory, right? Such a big high to win a Super Bowl. It's hard to watch your team struggle the way they have been this year at 6-6. Like, you look at it, you say, this team's much better than a 6-6 team. They are.
I got a question for you. The team that won the Super Bowl last year, the following season that we're in right now, which of the teams had a losing record didn't make the playoffs?
After winning a Super Bowl? Well, I know the Giants did it a couple years when they beat New England. Carolina didn't win it.
No, but what was the record after the next season?
You mean after they win a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
The next year comes.
Yeah. What's
their record?
Yeah.
That's a good statistic. You gotta look that up. But teams have struggled.
I gotta do some research on that.
No, I'm saying, but when you win a Super Bowl, it's easy to be let down after that.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to repeat doing the same thing. Like, where's the motivational factor? I brought it up on the show. I said, where's the motivation? It should be there for Wentz because he wasn't a part of the first one. Like, when you're not a part of that first win, there has to be some hunger, right? Like, if you're Carson Wentz, don't you feel like, I want to be a part of it, I want to lead my team back to a Super Bowl? That's where it needs to be for the Eagles as a whole, but that needs to be it for Carson Wentz. Like, there's a lot of teams that win one, Joe, and they're like, all right, well, we got the monkey off our back. Especially for a city like Philadelphia that never won one. That's huge, man. So I'm not surprised about the letdown. I'm surprised that they haven't recovered from the letdown until now. They won a couple games in a row, 2 big wins in a row, but now it's like this is the third one. This is the cherry on top.
It's like the Super Bowl hangover really took effect on it.
It did, but this is the ultimate Super Bowl hangover. Does that make any sense? Like you won the Super Bowl for your city. You won. This is the first. This wasn't the Patriots winning the 12th one.
No.
This was the Eagles winning their first ever Super Bowl for Philadelphia.
Patriots, when they won their first Super Bowl, look how they turned out the next following season.
Of course. They picked up where they left off.
Exactly.
That's what
They got some key players during the
Exactly.
season.
Exactly. We have some touchdowns to report. The Green Bay Packers are on the board at 7-7. Kansas City just scored. As I'm watching it up here, it's 7-0 over Baltimore. We talked a little bit about that game. The Tampa Bay
That could be an
Bucks.
upset too.
Baltimore.
Baltimore could come up with that.
There goes a running back that's not Kareem Hunt. That's for the Chiefs. Another report that came out says Kareem Hunt is now going to begin counseling for his punishment that happened last week. Of course, we did the show on Friday about that. He's gonna. The NFL's gonna force him to do counseling. Of course, there.
Don't worry about Kareem Hunt. He'll find a job in the near.
He will. We talked about it on Friday, and of course, there's always a second chance, right? There's always a second chance waiting for somebody out there to give him a crack at it. Someone's gonna look. Reuben Foster got claimed by the Redskins.
Yeah.
And that was a whole alleged story. And of course now Kareem Hunt, there's video and all that hoopla. Go get some counseling. He'll be back next year, hopefully. Get back in the league. But he's got to make better decisions. And doing what he did is unacceptable.
My question to you on the Mike McCarthy subject.
Yeah.
Where do you see him coaching next season? Jets or Browns?
Well, I don't think he'll be a head coach.
No?
I think he's going to be an offensive coordinator somewhere.
Okay.
Because I think it was such a bad taste in people. Now maybe look, the Jets may go out and get Le'Veon Bell. Jets have a young quarterback like Sam Darnold. Maybe. If there's a team, maybe the Jets would do it. But I don't think he gets a head coaching job, man. I wouldn't be surprised if he does, but I personally don't think so. I think he'll be an offensive coordinator somewhere. I think it might be better for him too mentally to get a break from being a head coach. I mean, he had Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. That's a lot of pressure, man. Every year. But the thing is, he only won one Super Bowl with A-Rod. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
One Super Bowl. It's like the Phillies back in 2008 when they only won one
I'll tell you what,
World Series.
being a responsible coach in the NFL is not an easy task. It's a lot of
It's
responsibility.
not. And that's why Doug Peterson's getting some heat. Talked about Jason Garrett throughout the show. Big game coming up at 4:25. Predictions for the game. A lot of people seem to think the Cowboys are going to win this game. That's what a lot of people I'm talking to say. Of course, coming from a Cowboys fan, he says,
Have we got any predictions online?
there's people think it's a Cowboys win, man. People think it's a Cowboys. And I think it's hard for Eagles fans to admit it. Of course, Eagles fans are going to be tuned in tonight. They're going to see what's going on tonight in this game at 4:25. It's the season's on the line. Anytime the season's on the line, I will put my money on a team that needs to come through to save their season. So I think the Eagles will be fine today. I don't know how they're going to get it done. It's going to be ugly, maybe even like a 16-10 final or something like that. But it's going to be an ugly game to watch.
I was disappointed the 2 weeks ago when the Eagles played the Giants, when that first half,
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley ran over that Eagles defense.
Yeah, well,
it was
you
19-3.
But you thought the season was over then.
Yeah, exactly.
And they battled back in the second. So I would say the second half against the Giants and the second half against the Redskins were the best two halves they played all year.
Yeah.
And I think, and then actually the first game against the Giants was big up in the Meadowlands, or up in MetLife. It was pretty big. It's a great time here at the Beef Bear. Of course, 2366 Catasauqua Road in Bethlehem, PA. Stop on by. Again, the show's going to wrap up here in a minute, but we will be here for a little bit, having a bite to eat. Come on by for the Eagles-Cowboys game at 4:25. Also, the video will be posted on YouTube and Facebook throughout the week. This isn't something where, hey, you got to come now or you can't come at all. You can stop on. This is your first time here. You said so. You're gonna enjoy
Special
it.
guest.
You let us know on
Being
Facebook.
here on-
Yeah, post on the Facebook page and let us know how you think the food is, because you're gonna love it. I'm telling you, the burger is phenomenal here. I think it's still a quarter-pound burger.
They'll get my Facebook rating.
Yeah, you should. And put it up on Yelp. Of course, reviews. Anytime you go out to eat, you're checking online and Yelp and everything like that to get some reviews. 2366 Catasauqua Road, Bethlehem, PA. Big thank you to Abe, of course, for having us here, and everybody, the Big Beef Baron
thanks for having me,
family.
man. It's an honor.
Yeah, absolutely. Go Eagles and Cowboys. It's going to be a good game. I'm going to have a bite to eat. Of course, come on by. 4:25, Eagles, Cowboys. We'll be here at the Beef Baron for a little bit. Also, throughout the week, Thursday Night Football. How about tomorrow night, Minnesota versus Seattle? You can come sit at the bar, enjoy the games, have something to drink. The draft beers, 80-some draft beers, IPA beers. I never had an IPA. I want to have one.
Here's another free pick.
I want to have one because I'm here. I'm being
Here's another
serious.
free
I want to
pick
have.
if it's okay with you. I take Seattle tomorrow.
You think Seattle? Okay, Seattle's Joe's free pick. I'm going with the Bears today. I told you, if I had $1 million, I would take the Bears tonight. Bold, call me bold or not. And you know what? To even feel more aggressive, I'll take a money line plus $1.40. So if you had $100, you make $140 if you want to take the Bears. Bears tonight. You agree? You agree?
Steelers.
I got an ugly Steelers. Steelers win. Steelers win.
Steelers.
he's a Hebrew something.
No. Why, he's a Bears fan?
No.
Oh, $1 million? Well, God bless him if he's doing that.
Yeah, well, he hopes he has
He hopes, exactly. More like, like a $100 bet. Take the Bears for $100. Make it entertaining. Let's say if you're a heavy gambler, take the Bears heavier. Money line. I like the Bears tonight. That's my free pick. Eagles, Cowboys, 425. Great time at the Beef Baron, 2366 Kadasaka Road. All my listeners on Twitter, Joe Eunice15, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. We'll be back at the Beef Baron in the next couple of months, especially during March Madness. I will be here. Even if they lock the door, I'll break in. I'll come in. I'll be here for March Madness. I'll be enjoying some games, of course, and watching some NFL games. Come on by. Great conversation. Thank you to Aziz for jumping on, talking Cowboys. Thank you to Abe promoting Beef Baron. Of course, again, it's easy. It's an easy places to find. Just, and this day and age of social media, just type in a place's name and you're there. My wife used to. No, I'm not trying to rip you right now, but just take it a little bit easy. She used to be somewhere, not know where she was going. Just go on your phone, pull over, Google it, and you map it. It's that simple. So just Google Beef Baron, Yelp it, search it, you'll find it. It's that simple, right? It's not pretty easy. 2366. No offense. Yeah, exactly. 2366 Kadasaka Road, right? Just Yelp it. Put up a review and come on by. I love the logo. The logo is badass. The bull and the horn. Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. It was an awesome show. Eagles, Cowboys. We got some Cowboys predictions. We got Eagles predictions. We'll see what happens at 425. I'll be back on Saturday, 10:30 to 12. I'll be back here in the next couple of months. We'll have a couple more shows. Then we'll be back in March for March Madness. But come on by, have yourself a bite to eat, and one of the million draft beers that Abe has on display here.
I'm looking forward to those Christmas games, man, coming up.
Yeah, there's gonna, of course. Time of year, man. The holiday season's always great. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy your Sunday.
Thank you, guys.
And enjoy the NFL. Have a great day.